when I saw the View episode with Jeanine Pirro as the guest, I knew it was going to be a lot of tension brewing. But I didn't think they would carry it outside of the View. And I gotta say, after watching it over and over again, and after reading different commentaries about it, I'm gonna make my own. So just sit back and listen, and then we can discuss it, shall we? Let's go. Hey guys, I'm back with another video. This is your girl, Miss Analytical. I'm coming back with another one. And I'm going to say this one really happened about 2 weeks ago. You know, this whole controversy with Whoopi Goldberg versus Jeanine Pirro. For those of you who don't know who Jeanine Pirro is, if you're from outside the New York tri-state area, you're just familiar with her from Fox News. But we in the New York tri-state area, we've known about her for years, if not decades. Jeanine Pirro was a judge in Westchester County. She became a DA in Westchester back around in the early 90s. So I was like a little girl when she really started to become powerful. Judges are powerful, but the district attorneys are even more powerful. Now, what a lot of you all don't know about Jeanine Pirro is that she's not Italian. A lot of people believe that she's Italian. She is actually of Lebanese descent, and her last name is Ferris. She's Jeanine Ferris, and she was born in upstate New York in Elmira. And she is a Republican, that is the truth, but she married a man who was Italian with the last name Pirro. And they were married for about almost 40 years, but she divorced him in 2013. And she was the first female judge elected to Westchester County prior to being elected as the first female district attorney in Westchester County. So she made history not once, but twice. And she has always been a champion for victims of domestic violence and also crimes against the elderly. I'm not familiar with her being a champion for the elderly, but I am familiar with her being a champion for those who suffer from domestic violence. But she became nationally known when she was trying to run against Hillary Clinton for the Republican nomination for a U.S. Senator back in 2006. But she dropped out. She really dropped out, honestly, not because she accepted the New York Attorney General nomination, but she dropped out really because of a scandal that happened with her husband. And when that happened, it was pretty much, I do still believe that the Clintons dug up the dirt on her husband, but she dropped out. And I'm going to be honest with you, I wanted to see that battle happen. I wanted to see that. I wanted to see two women who didn't like each other. I really wanted to see them duke it out. But the reason why I'm mentioning this to you is because I want you to get a clear picture of who this woman is and why she has now become a fixture on Fox News, has her own show on Fox News, and has really written a lot of books about crime, even though that is her specialty. Also, she has become really a champion for the Trump administration. She really has. And really, I just want to say, I don't trust anybody in politics. I will tell you that first off, because I've been in politics on a school level, and I also helped out on local campaigns. I don't trust anybody at all when it comes to politics. But the reason why I want to talk about this is because the way this played out on The View is really important. And I'm going to share some insight about what happened and why this whole debacle between Whoopi and Jeanine Pirro occurred. So basically, Judge Jeanine Pirro was a guest on The View, and she was scheduled to be there that day to promote her books, Liars, Leakers, and Liberals, the case against the anti-Trump conspiracy. And what happened was, when she arrived there on the show, she found out that Joy has called out at the last moment, probably because she wasn't feeling well. And they told her Ana Navarro is going to be the guest host on the show. Ana has a hatred for Trump, and it's really because he's anti-immigrant. Let's keep it real. Now, I really don't like Ana Navarro at all, because when the whole thing happened with the soldier who got killed in Niger, she sided with the lieutenant who was spewing racist remarks against the wife when she had said, I never received a phone call. I never received a phone call from him, letting me know that he was sending out his condolences. And she said basically the wife was pretty much complaining and she should focus on other issues. And I felt that she was insensitive, because I'm like, woman, you are not from here. You are from Nicaragua. You came here as a teenager and you were able to get ahead of a lot of people, particularly black people, who, in my opinion, could have been deserving of those scholarships. You had a connection. That's why you sitting on The View. Number one. So that part, I don't like Ana Navarro. I don't. But she really hates her for being an anti-Trumper. So when she got on the show, she already had a bad attitude. It's a known fact. So anyway, when she appeared on the show, what they were really talking about, they were talking about Helsinki, which is a conference that they have every year. It's like a summit. And what happens, they discuss political policies, and we all know Trump and Putin was there. And if you kind of remember it, it was kind of weird because Trump kept calling him President Putin, but Putin kept calling him Donald. And it was weird because it's like, wait a minute, you don't really respect him as a president. So it really brought some strange. To me, it was strange. But really, Whoopi was discussing the whole thing. And basically, she was saying, like, how do you feel about them meeting up and having this conference? And so Jeanine Pirro said, I'm glad to see people finally talking. And Whoopi said, but wasn't people complaining about the last president when he wanted to talk to people? And a lot of people were critical of it. And so Jeanine Pirro just basically went after her and started like pretty much attacking her from that point on. But really, Judge Jeanine Pirro took it a step further and talked about the dossier and started talking about how the dossier was made up. It was being phony and it was being perpetrated by his running mate who was trying to win the election. And what's the woman's name? Sonny was like, that's not true. And it was proven that it was also being orchestrated by people in his own party. But I'm going to go ahead and jump because I'm going to talk about really what really was very serious. And what was serious about this was basically the whole thing that happened with her saying that this woman had Trump derangement syndrome, which I never knew that there was a such thing. I'm just going to be honest with you. I didn't know. So pretty much this is what happened. She says, you have Trump derangement syndrome. And the person who first, was asking was Meghan McCain. She was like, me? I don't. She was like, not you, you. And she pointed to Whoopi Rudy. And Whoopi was like, excuse me? She was like, yeah, you got Trump derangement syndrome, which really sounds like something Trump has himself. And that's what the writer says. And Whoopi was like, no, I don't. She was like, I don't have Trump derangement. Let me tell you what I have. I am tired of people starting a conversation with Mexicans are liars and rapists. And she says, listen, I'm a 62-year-old woman. There have been a lot of people in office that I haven't agreed with, but I have never, ever seen anything like this, she continued. I have never seen anybody whip up such hate. I've never seen anybody be so dismissive. And clearly you don't watch the show. So you don't know that I don't suffer from that. What I suffer from is the inability to figure out how to fix this. So basically, Whoopi then, she did try to control herself, but she couldn't. But she was really trying to start the conversation on Pirro's book. Now, this is the very most important thing about this conversation. Whoopi asked her one thing, and she said, what about the deep state? Who are the people that's running the deep state? Tell us more about the deep state. Now, Pirro's book is basically all about that. The conspiracy, the anti-Trump conspiracy, which is basically to take him down. Now, that was Pirro's one opportunity to just to talk that. But instead, she had laughed and had a smile on her face. As she then said, you know what's horrible? When people who shouldn't be here end up murdering the children of American citizens. So she sort of flipped it. And she was like, you know what? What is horrible is when the president of the United States whips up people to beat the hell out of people. Say goodbye, I'm done. And so that ended it there. Now, what happened next was this. Pirro sat there, she's stunned. And what she basically said, really, because I saw it, she said, I don't care. But then she leaned over. No, Megan leans over to apologize because Megan and her know each other from Fox. Let's keep it real. And they're both Republican. But she didn't care. Once the camera stopped rolling, she ripped off her mic, threw it at the crew, exclaiming, those cocksuckers. And that's exactly what I told them would happen, referring to the panel. And that's pretty much basically because Anna was there. She was mad. Goldberg left the stage to calm down, but Pirro came over to her and put her finger in her face, and she yelled something along the lines of, I've done more for victims than you ever will. In response, Goldberg says she expressed a few choice words that she can't repeat. I think Whoopi called her a bitch. And basically, she apologized, and she said, I got stirred up, and I apologize for getting hot. But she says, for 20 years, the show has always had people on with different views, but you cannot come and call people names. And she called them cocksuckers. Now, to call somebody a cocksucker, and you calling people who work behind the camera that most of them are men. So basically, you calling these men gay. And you calling the women gay. Now, Pirro also said that she said, fuck you. I believe she said fuck you, but that's because you call them cocksuckers. Once you call somebody a cocksucker, all bets are off. You can say anything to somebody. And she says, I've tried murder cases. I've gone against drug cartels, but I've never been treated like this in my life. Okay. And so Whoopi cleared up everything, saying I didn't spit on her. I didn't intimidate her. No one chased her out of there, but she did leave cursing at the people who booked the show. She cursed at the guys who do security for the show, and I believe it. And she said, I want to see what Pirro will say about the whole incident on her show, but I refuse to give it any views. Y'all let me know if you watch and if there's any good tea. And that's that. And I feel, this is what I believe. Okay? And this is why I'm speaking about this. From what I saw, and I saw it over and over again, I believe that Jeanine Pirro assumed that she could say whatever she wanted to Whoopi, because Whoopi was a black woman. Whoopi, I'm a fan of her as an actress, but on The View, there are a lot of things I disagree with Whoopi. And, that's the way things are. But I felt as though when it came to this whole thing, everybody on that panel has gone against Trump, even Meghan McCain. Especially since he talked about her father like a piece of shit. I'm sorry, but he has. But you single-handedly went after Whoopi and said that she suffered from Trump derangement syndrome. You could have said basically you all on this panel suffer from Trump derangement syndrome, because at least you wouldn't have came out really singling out one person. But what you did was you went after the black woman. Now, Sunny is black also, but she's, she goes by being half Puerto Rican, half Latina, and half black, but she's black too. But she's a lighter skinned black woman, and she's Catholic. And that's a very important point. So she wasn't going to go off cold. so much and attack Sunny. And also Sunny is a fellow prosecutor like herself. But Whoopi is just an actress who basically is supposed to make people feel good about themselves. And the fact that she wasn't doing that for Pirro this time around, she got an attitude over it. And this is what I'm going to say to a lot of young black women out there. This is why you cannot side with white women as allies. They're not our allies. You can be cool with an individual one, but as a group, there's no feminist coalition with all women together as one. That's not the case. Never has been, and it never will be. And that episode of The View demonstrated it. Okay? Now, you hate Anna so much. You got a hate for Anna. You hate Anna Navarro. But you didn't even go at Anna like you went at Whoopi. All them times when you was a guest on The View before, Whoopi's been nothing but kind to you on the show. Y'all laughed it up, hands it up, you know. And even Whoopi, after all that, you know what Whoopi said? I never had an issue with you when you've come on the show many times. We've hosted you and we had great conversations. Hey, I even enjoyed the book that you wrote about Robert Durst. I really did. Honest. And I still do. But having said that, what you did this time around was not acceptable. There was no need for your actions. And that's what Whoopi basically said. She summed up by saying, listen, even with all of that, I'm woman enough to still give you props. But you yourself need to check your attitude at the door because you were the one that was bringing the animosity, not us. We hosted you. And I agree with that. You know, when Pirro had the one opportunity to talk about the Trump deep state, she didn't do it. And for that, I think that she was full of it. And so all the other people out there who are Trump supporters, if y'all really following this woman's book, she let y'all down. Because she could have talked about she really could have talked about the deep state, and she didn't. Because I wanted her to really discuss it. And she didn't do it at all. And for that, I found her to be, I'm going to say it, fake on that aspect. And I'm just going to sum it up by saying it was a really good episode with that. It was very informative. And I'm glad that that happened. I have to keep it real. I'm very glad that that happened. And with that being said, this is your girl, Miss Analytical, signing off. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I would love to hear y'all speak about it in your comments. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day. Later.